What's up, bitches?
Let's talk about crime.
What's up, bitches?
Hello.
I apologize. I probably sound a little...
Trisha's sick.
I sound a little under the weather, and that's because I'm a little under the weather. I just got
Karma for going to Disneyland.
I got the flu.
Yeah, so it's karma.
Literally, like 2 days
It's God's
after
way of
going-
saying, don't ever go without your children again.
Do you know, I literally looked at Dad and said, after this trip of going to Disney, like I genuinely don't want to go anymore because I always get sick.
Oh, I thought you were going to say because you missed us. Because I'm like, that's not the first time I've heard that.
No, I do miss when you guys aren't there. It's fun, but I do miss when you guys aren't there. But I got so sick that I was in bed for 3 days in the freaking hotel, just dying.
Fucking room service. That sounds great.
No,
to me.
I didn't get room service, and it's just, and the bed was uncomfortable. And so I told Dad, I was like, I don't know. Every time I go to Disneyland, I get sick. This is the worst I've ever been, but oof. So anyways, but because I'm the one who researches and does all the things, I got to be here. I don't have a choice. And
That's true.
I'm not contagious anymore. So, or at least we hope not. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not contagious, so I can do this. This is fine. But what I will say, the only other thing I will say that really bummed me out is when I was there, my literal goal was to research like 3 or 4 episodes for each of the podcasts. I got 1. This is it. So now I have to go to research a bunch of them because I got sick the week that I was supposed to do my extra episodes. I was sick the whole time.
Your fingers can still type?
No, I'm telling you, I couldn't. First of all, my head was pounding so bad I couldn't.
I would have just slept
even,
all day.
That's what I did. I did that for literally all of Tuesday, all of Wednesday. And then finally on Thursday, I was kind of like, okay, I'm going to try to stay awake. But I couldn't even, like, I had the TV on. All the lights were off in the hotel for the whole entire time.
What's funny is you say that's how you do it when you're sick. That was literally me and Olive last night watching movies. There was not a single light on in the house, and it was just the TV. I think my DoorDash driver definitely
He was
thought
probably
that
like,
nobody was home.
Creeper going down that creepy ass driveway.
Yeah, because I live like in the woods.
In the woods, creepy by its
Hardly
by
any
herself.
lights on, and then all you see is the fucking TV reflection,
Like,
and that's
creeper. Anyways, so we're here, and yeah.
it. Trisha's barely hanging on, but I'm good.
So if I sound a little rough. It's not my usual nice voice. Apologies. And it's not like the cool, like sexy voice that people get. This sounds like a fucking bullfrog. So it's fine. Like, we here. Why are you staring at me like that?
Because all I can think about are the people that have come to me who have listened to the podcast and said that about your voice, and I'm like, that I don't need to know this. Keep those thoughts to yourself. Thank you.
You're like, that is my mother.
Yeah.
My mother. One final thing, and then we'll get to our story. For those of you who have not been to Disneyland and ridden Tiana's Bayou, it's worth it. You get soaking wet. Sierra asked us to go. I wouldn't have gone, but she said, please, can you ride it? So we did. We got soaked. It was a good time. It's really cute. Hopefully we're going to be going to Disneyland at the end of this year for Christmas, so we can ride. We're gonna ride it. We're just gonna bring extra clothes because it's gonna be cold as shit. So I already told my son he has to ride it one time, and he hates us for it. So we scarred him for life from ever riding that ride again when it was Splash Mountain. But anyways, it was good. It was good. That's all I'm saying.
Side note, if it sounds weird, it's because the microphones and things like that had gotten unplugged and things got weird with the technicalities.
The dials.
Yeah, with the dials. And the reason why that I'm saying that is because I can hear one of the dogs chewing on a ball. So if you guys hear that, just ignore it.
Yeah. Just ignore. I mean, we'll get it dialed in. Anyways, are you ready to talk about what we are here to talk about?
Murder.
So we are actually going to talk about the murder of Rick Chance. Now, this happened in 2002, August of 2002, and a man named Rick Chance was murdered in a hotel room in Tempe, Arizona. Now, we're going to get a little bit into the background. Now, I'm going to forewarn you and say that the reason we're talking about the murder of Rick Chance and we're not talking about like a murderer, because there's two people that were involved in this murder. So I didn't want to, I don't know, I don't know who's to 100% blame or not. So fair share. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to talk about Rick Chance first, obviously. So Rick was born in Phoenix, Arizona, August 1st, 1958. He was born to Charles Earl Chance and Clara Eloise Hadley Chance. I love that name. Clara Eloise. Clara Eloise. So fancy.
It's like Paisley Ann.
It is, but I don't like that name.
I always said if I ever had kids, my daughter's name would be Paisley Ann.
Clara Eloise. Okay, sorry. He grew up in Maricopa and Casa Grande. He had siblings, 3 sisters and 1 brother. He graduated from Maricopa High School, and he also graduated from Central Arizona College and Grand Canyon University. He got married January 17th, 1979 to a woman named Nori Rose in Las Vegas, Nevada. And they actually go on to have 2 children. They live the life, and then things don't work out. They actually get divorced. So Rick becomes the owner of an extremely successful automobile glass company called Empire Glass. And he literally becomes a millionaire because of this company. He has like ads on TV. People know him as the guy on TV. Now on Valentine's Day of 1996, he actually gets married again to Jill Scott. And they actually get married on the Good Morning America show. So he was just like in it. He was in it. Now that marriage,
I would never want my anniversary to be fucking Valentine's Day.
You know, there's a lot of people that when they get married on Valentine's Day, I've heard people say it's because then they never forget the anniversary.
I mean, yeah, but
I don't think I would want to do Valentine's Day as my.
First of all, I've always said that I wanted to get married in, well, if it's where I'm living now, in like the fall time. So definitely not February.
You're like me because I got married in the fall. Because I think it's just prettier in the fall. It's just a pretty time.
Well, it's not when, especially now, like September, October in the past years have been like dry.
Yep.
But not too hot, but not too cold. Still really beautiful sunsets and things like that. That's why we
got married in October, because I wanted an outdoor wedding. But the only time you can basically guarantee there's not going to be rain is September and October.
Right,
that's about it.
Because for a while there, September was like when I was in high school and stuff. September was always really rainy, but it's like as the years go on, it's like that rain kind of pushes back and back closer to like now time frame.
Yep,
which is great.
So this marriage actually does not last very long either, and they get divorced in 1999. So their marriage only lasts like 3 years. Now, Rick was described as a religious person who was trusting and actually a really nice person by basically everybody who knew him. So regardless of his marriages, he was a good, trusting person. People really genuinely liked him. So that's the background on Rick Chance. Now we're going to talk a little bit about somebody named Brandy Hungerford. Now, Brandy she was born in South Korea. I don't know her date of birth, but she was born in South Korea. She came to the United States after she was adopted. Now, she originally lives in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and then eventually moves with her family to Tempe, Arizona. And that's where she is like in her teenage years. Now, her father was a machine shop foreman, and she actually wanted to grow up to become a nurse. Now, while she's living in Tempe, she has plans to take classes at Arizona State University, and she ends up answering an ad in the paper while she's looking for a job that said they were looking for models. And I'm laughing because Sierra was not a teenager.
I remember this.
She was like 11 years old. And this man approached her in the mall.
We were at like Burlington Coat Factory or some shit like that.
And he was like, oh my God, you're so pretty. I have a modeling agency.
He was probably in his 30s, 40s?
Yeah.
Like he was an older man.
Yes. And Sierra is begging me to let her meet this guy and all. I'm like, absolutely not. No, ma'am. So it made me laugh when I read this because I was like, oh, look, Sierra knows exactly how that is. She ends up becoming actually a licensed escort in Maricopa. So my guess is The modeling agency was an escort service company that was looking for models to be escorts. Now, what she would do is she would meet up with people in their hotel rooms, and then she would basically give them like a private strip show. Like that's literally what she would do.
Okay.
She traveled with bodyguards for her own protection. So this was like a legit like escort type service. Not always strip shows, to be honest with you. Like sometimes the escorts, when you hire
sometimes
an escort,
escorts just are there as like your plus one of
Yeah.
like, oh, this is my
So
wife,
that's-
or
no,
this is
and-
my girlfriend,
right.
or, you
So
know.
that's what she was doing. Like she wasn't like a prostitute. She wasn't working at like a strip club. She was literally a hired person, but a lot of times
They
that
make some
hired
good
person,
fucking money sometimes, man.
And
I'm
she
just
was
saying.
she was a beautiful girl, like no doubts. Now, she eventually does end up leaving the escort industry, and she enters into the world of exotic dancing and ends up working at a high-end nightclub because they just make more money. Period, point blank. You make more money working at a strip club than you do doing escort services or anything because it's just more people frequent these clubs.
Well, and the services that you can charge for.
Right. And
you get tips, and you get your,
and she worked at a high-end club, which means
Right.
that it was expensive for like the lap dances
Right.
were ridiculously expensive. So that's Brandy. And then I literally have the smallest amount of information about a man named Robert Donald Lemke II. Now, Robert Lemke is a male dancer from the Pacific Northwest. And he is actually
gang.
he was actually convicted of felony assault.
Never mind, not gang.
He also was charged with and pleaded guilty to illegal possession of a firearm, to which at that time he jumps his bail and ends up in Tempe, Arizona. So he leaves from Washington, actually is where he's from. And he ends up
even more gang.
Right? I know, it was weird. I'm like,
wow,
how many Washington people are we going to do?
Wow.
Oh, it's very interesting. Anyway, so he basically gets in trouble, skips on his bail because he's out on bail, and he escapes to Arizona. Now, he works in the adult entertainment industry, and he was actually known by pretty much everybody as a hustler and a deal maker, and he had a very handsome looking face. I personally didn't find him attractive, but I could completely see how people thought he was very attractive. He ends up building his own escort business and starts doing that, which leads him to meet Brandy. So that's how he meets Brandy. And then that's their
connection.
Yes. And the two of them completely hit it off. Like they're, I don't know if they were in a relationship. I think they were kind of like in a relationship, but basically they were there for each other. So that's all I got about this guy. Okay. So we're just going to get right into the murder because that's the only way to do this. So at some point in his life, Rick Chance, which is the first person we talked about, the guy who owns the auto window place, he gets kind of bored with the auto glass industry. So he actually continues to try to work on selling jewelry that he makes himself. And he's very passionate about this. And the jewelry he makes is worth a ton of money. And at any given point, he would have thousands of dollars worth of jewelry on him to like show to people, to try to sell to people, because that's really where his heart of hearts was, right? Now, Brandy admits that she did meet Rick multiple times. Now, she would meet up with him to look at his jewelry, almost like she was pretending to be interested in him. And she also says that she did this because Robert had asked her to do this with the intent of eventually robbing Rick, was the whole point. So Robert gets Brandy and says, hey, there's this guy. He's a millionaire. Let's see if we can kind of, he sells jewelry. Let's see if we can get you to be like in a good connection with him and have him at some point bring his jewelry, and we'll just fucking rob all of his jewels because they're worth like a shit ton of money. Let's just do this. And so to set the stage for this, she actually she starts meeting Rick. She starts meeting Rick, and she kind of builds like a friendship with him because she's not
that he can trust her.
Right. Now, unbelievably, they actually made an attempt to rob him one time, and it failed miserably because Brandy ends up meeting up with Rick at Starbucks. And while they're at Starbucks, he's showing her his jewelry designs, not the jewels, but like the designs, right? Maybe like pictures or drawings or something, right? Now she's kind of like, oh, these are really great. And she's like, these are fantastic. We should meet up again. Let's have dinner in a couple of nights and let's talk a little more because I'm very interested and I have some friends that would be interested in your jewelry. And he's like, yeah, okay. So a couple nights later, she meets up with him for dinner. And when they're there, he basically says, like, if you want to come back to my house, I've got jewelry at my house that you can look at. And she's like, oh my God, that's a great idea. So she goes back to his home. Now, while she's there, she tells Rick, hey, can I use your bathroom while I'm here? And he's like, yeah, sure, of course. He points her in the direction. She goes in the bathroom and she calls Robert. She tells him, hey, I'm at his house. And he says, okay, so where does he live? Like, what street? And she's like, yeah, I can't remember.
What a fucking idiot.
I can't remember the street. And he's like,
I mean, to be fair, if you were to ask me, be like, hey, where's blah, 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 I'd be like, where the McDonald's and the Taco
okay,
Bell
but
are at.
she had one job. Her job was to find out what street he lived on.
That's true.
Okay, and she couldn't remember it, right? And so she can't give him the address. She can't give him the street. She can't give him anything. So he ends up going, because he's like driving around this area waiting
Trying
for her.
to yeah.
So he ends up getting pissed off and he goes home because it's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do?
That'd be me. I'd be
right?
like, okay, fuck off.
Yep. So now after this happens, Robert tells Brandy, like, we need a better plan because obviously that didn't work.
Clearly you are not reliable.
Right. Clearly you can't remember shit. So Brandy continues to keep contact with Rick at this point, and to which honestly Rick doesn't return like most of her phone calls because at this point he's suspicious because they've met up a ton of times with
But
the
she's
intent
never-
of her purchasing,
right.
and then she always has like
Flakes
a
on
reason.
it.
Yes.
Yep.
So he's already kind of like, I don't really.
It's like dating.
Yeah, it
Fucking
is.
A,
It's like
man.
he's like figured this out. He's like, yeah, I don't think so.
It's not worth your time.
No, exactly. So he basically doesn't return most of her calls. Now, on August 9th, 2002, Rick does agree to go out to dinner with Brandy. Now, Brandy suggests after they eat dinner that they go to the Best Western, which is near the restaurant. And there's actually surveillance video of the two of them checking into this hotel. So they went there. Now, once they're in the room, she actually starts to like flirt with him. She's kissing him. And then she excuses herself to go to the bathroom again. And this is where she calls Robert. And she uses the excuse that she's going to get ice. And she goes and meets Robert in the hallway and gives him like the key to get into the room. Now, she says the plan was that Robert was supposed to go in there like, not guns a-blazing, but like go in there and steal his jewelry because he had his jewelry on him. And there was not supposed to be violence. It was literally supposed to be he goes in, steals the jewels, leaves. While she also claims that she never went back into the room after she left. So after she left to go get the quote unquote ice, she never went back in the room is her claim. Now, the claim was that Robert entered the room wearing a mask and gloves, and she said that she stood outside in the hallway and ended up hearing a pop sound like a gunshot and that she was scared. However, a witness to this whole thing stated that they heard a woman scream, "Don't hurt him, he isn't going to say anything," and then 4 gunshots went off. So somebody was lying. Somebody was in that goddamn room. Now, a missing persons report. Oh, sorry. Nope. So after he is shot, Robert and Brandy put a do not disturb sign on the door and they run. So my only thing about this whole thing is, y'all, nobody called the cops on the 4 gunshots, huh? Not a one. Because here's why I say this. A missing persons report is actually put out for Rick when he misses a work meeting, like the next day. Nobody fucking called the cops on the 4 gunshots that night? That nobody checked,
Maybe
nobody?
they thought they were just wilding out.
Fucking, I don't know. Now, supposedly, Rick was supposed to check out of the hotel that next day, and the maid enters the room. She ignores the do not disturb sign because nobody's supposed to be there. She goes in and finds Rick dead on the floor. So again, nobody called the cops. So this guy dies and nobody called the cops to the 4 fucking gunshots. Witness that said, I heard the girl say and heard 4 guns. You didn't call the cops? What is wrong with these people? I don't understand. Actually, I do understand. In the psychology world, I do understand because that's actually very common. Mm-hmm. People always think that somebody else is going to do it. They always think like bystander effect is what they call it, where they think, I'm not going to do it because somebody's probably already called the cops and then nobody ends up calling. But it's just so weird to me. Or it didn't call the front desk, like nothing. That's weird. So anyways, she finds him dead on the floor. And she obviously immediately goes. They call the cops. The cops show up. And now the police originally can't find a motive for this murder because Rick's wallet is found in the room with hundreds of dollars in it and credit cards. So they're like, okay, well, this wasn't a robbery because all of his stuff is here. However, they do find out later that he always carried jewelry on him.
And those were missing.
And there was no jewelry on at the scene.
I'm shocked they didn't at least take the cash, too.
That's what I'm saying. If
Like,
you're
credit
gonna rob him,
cards,
fucking
like,
take the cash.
I probably wouldn't take the credit cards because, like, that can track, but I'd take the cash at
I'm
least.
saying, like, you guys are not smart. Not smart.
Clearly.
So they immediately, after all this stuff, they immediately find fingerprints for Brandy's fingerprints on, like, literally everything in the room because, duh, she was there. Now, they also have the surveillance footage of her. So they put her picture out into the world and they ask basically for help. Like, do you know this woman? We're looking, to talk to her. They received multiple tips on who she was. Like, people saw this and they were like, oh yeah, we think we know who she is, including a call from an employee of the Maricopa County jail. So somebody who worked in the jail saw the video and was like, I fucking know that girl. That's Brandy. And why? Because it's Brandy's mother who called. Which also,
shit.
Good on you, Brandy's
Damn.
mom, because I do the same thing.
She straight up said, bitch. Oh my God.
When I saw that, I was like, yes,
that
ma'am.
That is a total you move, though.
Yes, ma'am, because I didn't raise my kids to be assholes like that.
My mom always said, I mean, I never really, I wasn't a partier in high school. I was a sports kid, but my mom all the time said, or actually before I was 21, so even in college, my mom was like, if you end up getting so drunk and caught that you have to go to jail, to the drunk tank, she goes, you're gonna take that phone call and I'm gonna be like, all right, I'll see you in the morning. Yep. She's like, I'm not coming and getting you. I'm not bailing you out.
I say that even when my kids, when they were younger, I'd tell them, if you go and steal from somebody's house and you get
she
caught.
Almost ratted me out at Winco.
Seriously, if you steal and you get caught.
I tried to steal one piece of bubble gum. It was the biggest deal in the world.
Yes, because we don't want our kids to go to jail. So I tough love my kids. That's what I've always done. And that's what this lady did.
She bullied my brother and I. We've talked about it.
I didn't bully you guys.
We've talked about it.
I did not bully you.
They bullied us.
No, we did not bully you. We were just no bullshit. No bullshit. That's what it is. We didn't
bully.
What do you call it? We didn't gentle fucking parent because gentle fucking parenting is bullshit. It's bullshit.
It can work if you do it right, but
yeah, there's a right
almost
way
100% of the parents out there don't.
There is a right way to gentle parent. I learned about it in psychology. It's
effective.
It's not my cup of tea. But I can see how it works
for certain kids. It's effective, but the problem is the gentle parenting that's been out on TikTok, for instance, is the whole just cater to whatever the fucking kid wants.
No,
and that's not
gentle
how
parenting is you give consequences and rewards, but you don't spank, you don't punish. That's fine, but I didn't spank though. We didn't spank or punish our kids like
bullshit.
That. I didn't.
I took one for the team
one time when you were 3. When you were 3,
my brother did not have to be exposed.
Never,
to the spankings.
ever, because she cried so hard. I felt like such a terrible person. I could never. I've never smacked my children. I mean, I've spanked her once, and then I've never raised a hand in my kid's life after that. And I will be honest, I would say out of all the people that I meet in this world with their adult children, my kids are probably the most respectful and pleasant kids, and I don't know why. I don't take credit for it. They just were born fabulous. I don't know why they turned out so well, but they did. They're literally the best kids. They were the best kids throughout school. They were the best kids throughout high school. No, I mean, even as an adult, you guys are amazing people. So whatever we did was great, and I attribute it to we didn't sugarcoat and bullshit things. That's just how I attribute it. We didn't pretend like the world was going to be easy. And you guys got in trouble when you did something wrong, period. Mm-hmm. So good on you, Brandy's mom, for turning her in. Now, police are also able to link Brandy and Robert together by cell phone records. So now they know this is Brandy. So they, they're able to find her cell phone records, and they find that she is talking to Robert a lot. And they also end up catching him on the hotel surveillance video as well. So they now see him there too. So they're kind of like, okay.
They're like, here's our people.
Right. So then they get warrants for obviously apartments and things like that. And they end up finding the tags from Rick's jewelry in Robert's apartment. So now they know.
Oh my God, they're
Robert.
so stupid.
Now they know Robert definitely, most likely,
Oh my God.
had something to do with this, because also the thing with Rick's jewelry is his tags that he used were like super unique to his items.
Right, to stand
So
out, to
it's
show
not,
that it's his.
yeah, there's no way it was somebody else's. So they knew it was definitely Rick's jewelry that had been somewhere in that
I feel like
apartment.
this is like robbery 101.
What is World's
What's
Dumbest
yeah,
Robbers
that's
or whatever?
the books that you can get. That's what this feels like.
Yeah. Or robbing for dumb people or whatever
Yeah,
they
robbing
call it.
for dummies or whatever.
Yeah, robbing for dummies. So Brandy actually ends up leading the police to the murder weapon, which the ballistics testing matches that the bullets in from this gun were used to kill Rick Chase. So they do end up getting caught, obviously. So Brandy is arrested August 14th, 2002. Now remember, this happened on August 9th, so she was out for 5 days. Okay, she's arrested in Tacoma, Washington.
Oh my fucking God.
Now, she was charged with first-degree murder and waived her extradition back to Arizona. She ends up confessing and implicates Robert in the murder, but claims that she never had any knowledge of the murder.
You know, I don't believe that she didn't have knowledge of the murder because obviously the witness heard a woman's voice. But I really, and I know you're not done with the story, but I really do feel like he's the one that pulled the trigger and not her.
Oh, 100%.
Like, I don't think I think she was more of an accomplice in that.
I would even go as far to say that I don't think she thought he was going to die.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously she knew about the murder because she was there, but I don't think
she didn't know going into it.
She didn't know going into it that it was even going to be an option.
Right. I agree. I totally agree with that. Actually.
I'm not saying she's innocent because obviously she's
guilty.
She's guilty,
but she didn't pull the trigger. Set him up to be murdered.
I don't think she pulled the trigger either.
I don't think so either. So she ends up implicating Robert, but she does claim indistinctly, I did not know about this murder. She even claimed that she didn't. Okay, but see, then she does this like this, and I'm like, just fucking tell the truth. She even claimed that she didn't even know that Rick Chase was dead until her friend called her and said, "Hey, what happened? Your face is all over the news here in Arizona." Yes, you did. First of all,
see, if I were to have been her, I would have tried to talk to my lawyers to see if there was some way that
work out a deal.
Yeah, to work out a deal to basically be like, hey, I know, I'm probably going to be charged for at least robbing somebody, but anything that has to deal with the murder, don't put on me and I'll fucking tell you every little detail you want to know.
Well,
because that's what I would have done.
She ends up cooperating with the police. She's the one that gives them the gun.
That's good then.
Yeah, she gives them the gun. She tells them what happens in her mind. But again, some of her shit's not right because she said she wasn't in the room. She said that she didn't know he was dead, but yet there is a witness who heard the gunshots and heard somebody yell, "Don't hurt him. He's not going to tell."
Wouldn't there be surveillance camera?
That's the thing. You would think that they
to
would
cross-reference, oh, I heard gunshots at 8 p.m. and
who is going?
She came out of the room
at
8:15.
So she cooperates, and she ends up giving her kind of like a plea deal. She pleads guilty to second-degree murder, actually.
Okay.
And she gets sentenced to 14 years in prison on September 23rd, 2007. She was 30 years old at the time.
I feel actually I'm not opposed to that.
I agree.
Because like I said, in my heart of heart, I don't think she pulled the trigger or anything.
I'm glad because she was released from prison in 2016 because she served her time. So if you're going to talk shit, she's out in the world ready to live her life. But to be honest,
she didn't pull the trigger. Come at me.
Exactly. Well, but that's my thing is.
What are you going to do? Rob me for my fucking Claire's jewels? Okay.
Claire's.
Fucking A.
But I mean, I agree with you. I think she did her time.
Yeah.
She made a mistake by trusting somebody and getting into cahoots with somebody who she probably didn't think that he would actually pull the trigger. He probably had a gun and told her he was going to do it to rob and scare. And who knows, in that room, maybe Rick Chance stood up and tried to fight him and that's why he was killed. It doesn't matter. You still shot him 4 times. But yeah, I agree. I don't think that she...
This is one that I actually agree.
Yeah, I was okay with her
punishment.
I was too. Okay, so then we go on to Robert Lemke.
Oh no. This is where I'm probably not going to.
Okay, so Robert Lemke, he is also arrested in Tacoma, Washington.
Oh, shocker.
However, after he's arrested, he fights extradition to Arizona. So he tells that when you fight it, it means that you get a lawyer to try to stop you from being expedited or taken back to where the crime was to be held on trial or whatever, because he had things in Tacoma that he was in jail for, that he was going to be in jail for.
About that.
And so he was like, I gotta
and
serve
he jumped bail.
I gotta serve my time here first, right? Yeah, right, because he was a felon, right? So
right. I totally forgot about that.
However, he does eventually get sent back to Arizona. Basically, the Washington justice system, legal system had to basically say like, nah, like it's fine, fucking take him, because we're gonna let those charges kind of sit so that he can go. They had to do that. So he is charged for the murder of Rick Chance, and he actually pleads not guilty. And
of course,
a jury becomes deadlocked in 2005 on whether he shot Rick or not.
Are you fucking kidding me?
They were able to agree on charging him with the theft, though. So he did receive 27 years in prison for the theft of the jewels, but he was not charged with murder.
I'm actually like open mouth fucking shocked right now. I'm waiting for the fucking day that I'm on jury duty for some shit like this. I swear to God.
Okay, hold on. So yes, they cannot decide whether, which I don't understand. Well, I don't understand that, but whatever.
There had to have been some real good or not good evidence,
yeah.
Because I don't know how else that would have fucking worked out.
I don't either. So, like I said, he does get 27 years though, which also 27 years for stealing somebody's jewelry.
That does seem like a lot. Though.
That's a long time.
A lot.
Because I'm sitting here going, I know of people that I have researched that are fucking like serial killers that go to jail for like 10 years for murdering somebody. And that's why they're able to go out and be a serial killer, because they kill somebody and only get like 10 or 15 years. So anyways, so 27 years for the jewelry. But I almost wonder if because the jewelry was worth so much, it was like grand larceny or whatever.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
So then on September 5th, 2007, he actually escapes having to face... No, not escape.
Oh, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? This guy. God damn. No. I was like, holy shit, dude. I guess bravo to fucking him.
No, he escapes having to face a second murder trial.
Okay.
Because since it was deadlocked, when you have a deadlocked jury, they basically dismiss the charge and then you can be tried again. So they wanted to try him again for a second murder trial, but instead he accepted a plea deal.
Of course he did.
Which was life in prison with the possibility of parole after 25 years and having to pay $10,000 in restitution. Okay. Now, at the time of his conviction, he had served about 5 years of the 33 years that he is supposed to be serving for the theft of the theft of the jewels and prior convictions that he had. So he was sitting at 33 years. He had served 5 of those years. Now he is eligible for parole as of 2032. So in like 7 years. I don't think he'll get parole. I don't think he will.
I fucking don't know at this point.
So
couldn't tell you either way.
So Rick Chance's brother, Mike, did directly address Robert at one of his trials. And he said, "You wanted to surround yourself with diamonds and gold. Now you will be surrounded by cold, hard steel and concrete." And then his final words to Robert were Godspeed and bon voyage.
Way to go, Mike.
I see it. Like,
love
fucking
it.
Between Brandy's mom and fucking Rick's brother, this is the case.
Mike.
So, anyways.
I will say, when they did the retrial or whatever it was to get the plea deal that he took, yes, I know he has the the ability for parole. However, the fact that the plea deal was a life sentence,
I agree,
with the possibility of parole, I actually am okay with that. Like, again, I don't think he should be paroled because first of all, I don't think he should be paroled only because, well, one, yes, I know he killed somebody, but besides that, he's a career convicted felon. Yeah, like just keep him out of
he's a career criminal. That right there, though, is why I don't think he'll get paroled, because
they'll probably take a look at everything.
They do. They take a look. Well, they take a look at everything you did, what you're in jail for, and then they ask you a bunch of questions. And to be honest, I think they have a harder time letting somebody out of prison if they have a track record of being.
If you have a record, why would they want to put you back out in society?
Exactly.
Honestly, but like I said, the fact that his plea deal wasn't like, 27 years, 25 years. Like, the fact that it was life with the possibility of parole. Like I said, the parole part kind of But
I was shocked to hear that they never, like, that they deadlocked on his murder in the beginning, though, because it was like, what exactly?
You guys, I'm not lying when I said I was open mouth.
Yeah.
Like, dumbfounded to hear that.
I know. But I think at the end, so at the very end of this, I think the sentences for both people were appropriate. I do.
Do we know, does Brandy have any contact with him? Like, did she keep in contact with him, or did she
No, I don't think they stayed in contact. As a matter of fact, they said that after she was released from prison, she basically disappeared from the public eye.
That's what I would do.
I would too.
You were in the public eye for not a good reason.
Especially for her, because again, like you said, I don't think she did this with any ill intentions. Well, yes, she did. She did it to rob somebody, but I don't think, first of all, had she not met Robert, I don't think she would have robbed people. She had like her whole, like, she had her mindset on other things.
Well, and really she
wasn't a career criminal. So
when you hear about the story, it's not even really her that's doing the robbing.
No.
She's basically the setup.
Yeah, she's just part of it. But she's got to pay for that part of it, right? And she did. I feel like
that's why I said I was not opposed.
No,
to
her sentence was fine.
Yeah.
And then, of course, for him, he's got a sentence for theft and then a life sentence. And so, yeah, he's eligible for parole in 7 years, but I don't see him.
They should have housed her with her mom.
In her mom's prison. Oh my God.
That would have been.
Could you imagine after getting out of jail having to go back to see your parents? Oh my Lord. If my mom, oh my God. Well, actually, I kind of did that.
If you were in prison and I got put in the same prison as you,
listen,
my life would be a living hell.
I know how it is. I totally know. I didn't go to jail. But I got pregnant when I was 18 and my mom worked at an abstinence clinic.
Like, I'm just saying, like,
awful.
Like,
you feel like such a fucking piece of shit.
You want to talk about being somebody's bitch?
No kidding.
I'd have to be your bitch.
Oh my God. If I worked in a prison and you came in those doors, oh my God, I would not protect you, first of all.
Whoa, fuck off.
I would make
You wouldn't give me extra pudding? What the
Absolutely not. No, because that's not learning your lesson. I would literally, I'd be friends with the top dog. I'd be friends with
if you worked there?
Yeah. I'd become friends with the top.
I was saying if your ass was in prison, not worked there.
No, because her mom worked there. No,
her
mom worked there.
You were saying her mom was in prison.
Her mom worked at the prison.
This whole time I thought her mom was a convicted felon.
No, ma'am. If I was in prison and you showed up, I'd beat the shit out of you for stepping your foot in prison. But then you'd be my best friend and I'd make sure everybody like respected the shit out of you. No,
Oh my God.
She worked at the prison. Her mom worked at the prison.
Okay, that makes, because I was like sitting there, I was like, damn. I was like, well, she probably had a shitty childhood.
No,
then.
That's what I'm saying. That's why for her, I think she had a pretty good childhood. It was just she got mixed in with the wrong.
She got mixed in with the wrong crowd, which
that happens. That happens. I know very well how that can happen. You know. I know these things. Anyways,
I don't.
And you know why you don't? Because your parents were fucking awesome. Because your parents made sure that you didn't make the same mistakes we did. Because your parents both picked shit crowds to hang out with.
And because apparently my friends think my parents are the cool parents, and when we all go out to the bar, they say, "Can you invite your parents?" And I'm like, why? Because
we're fucking cool.
I think it's because you guys are younger.
Well, we are younger, and also we don't judge people, man. We don't. I will accept. I only judge you once I know about you, but like, I don't judge your friends. Your friends can say some of the shittiest things or the best things, and I'm not going to judge them on that. I'm just there to hang out and be cool, right? Like, I only judge people once I get to know, and that makes a big difference in how if people like you or not, because I don't give them that weird. Like, ooh, you're my daughter's. Let me make sure you're the best person for my daughter. Nope, because you're an adult. Make your own choices. And I'm just there along for the ride. Anyways, so yeah, that was the story of the murder of Rick Chance, which also is really sad because he really was supposedly like a really good guy. And so it's kind of bummy that was the ending that he met. But I thought you'd like that little twisty at the end. Your face. This is the first time your face that I've seen you like actually shocked by what I said. So because that was great.
It's so like, how?
Yeah,
Like,
I don't get it.
What the fuck? How?
I want to shake the shit out of the Arizona jury and be like, were you not listening to the story?
It's not even one of those, like, we don't even know the details of the trial.
Nope.
And I'm sitting here going, how the fuck can you sit there and go,
I don't know,
maybe he didn't do it.
I know, like, who the fuck else shot him? Who the fuck else shot him?
The fucking lamp?
Exactly. How did he die with 4 gunshots?
Disney movie.
And how is it that he was the last? Like, what the fuck are we talking about right now?
I just don't understand. Because also my thought process on it is you're literally sitting here going, oh, maybe he didn't do it. And that's what you're saying. What if he wouldn't have gotten those 33 years of charges?
I know.
And what if he never got charged for the murder?
Yep.
First of all,
he'd be walking free.
That's shitty first of all, that's a shitty thing for Rick, because then
nobody
would have been, brought to, no justice for him. But also you could have potentially put another murderer out on the streets, because I'm not saying he would have become like a serial killer or killed again.
No, but he just got away with killing somebody and stealing their shit.
Right.
And honestly,
if you're previously a convicted criminal, I'm not saying that all criminals.
And also, he's a convicted felon.
Actually,
Let's make it very clear that he's a fucking felon, which means he wasn't illegally allowed to have a gun in the first place.
I feel like I'd be the evil person that, like, even if I was like, maybe he didn't do it, I'd be like, well, you are a convicted felon. So,
like, bitch, you just go to jail. It's fine. The other thing is, I think the reason he took the plea deal is because I don't know, but I'm pretty sure the Arizona still has a death penalty. And
see, but Washington would have also at that time.
But he wasn't being charged in Washington. They moved him to Arizona for his trial because this happened in Arizona.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
But first degree murder is typically in most states for their death penalty. I just read this because I don't know. I was looking up the difference between different types of murders, but don't ask why. I was looking up what the difference was between like
first and second
degree murder, or like,
isn't there third degree?
We were watching a show and it was like this person got charged with some type of murder, and then this one got charged with felony murder. So I was trying to figure out what the differences were.
There's so many differences.
They were talking about, though, that first degree murder, premeditated, and in the middle of like a theft, those are typically the grounds for the death penalty. Well, he fit all 3 of those.
Because aren't those the worst ones?
Maybe, but I mean, he fit all 3 of those. First degree murder, he literally murdered somebody. He premeditated it because he pre-planned it, and he was stealing from him. So all 3 of those he would have, if he was found guilty, no doubt he would have been been given the death penalty. Which
no, the fuck he wouldn't, because he wasn't found guilty.
No, but I'm saying I think that's why the second time around, instead of trying to go to trial again, he was like, I'll just plead guilty, because at least he guaranteed he was not going to have the death penalty. Which, I mean,
unfortunately smart on him.
But it always cracks me up because you took somebody's life and you were like, please don't kill me. Well, then don't be taking people's lives. If you don't want to die, I'm sure they didn't want to die. So why the fuck? I know Dad feels the same way you do. Don't worry. We had a whole conversation.
Whatever crime you do, you get the same punishment. And if it's killing somebody, then you get revived and back at it again.
You know what's funny is when we were at Disneyland with Dad's coworkers, one of them said that he was like, he made it even like more. Like he was like, not only, he goes, we should literally just do it to him over and over and over and over, and don't ever let him die. And I'm just like, oh my God.
I think
torturous.
I think it should be for however, so like if you're a serial killer, that's how many times
how many times you had killed somebody.
And if it's like you're a one-time murderer, I think you should, instead of a one-time murderer, I think you should probably get the death penalty. And especially if it's premeditated, if it's an accident, it's a little different there, but especially if it's premeditated, if you're put to death, you should be put to death how you put that person to death. So if you tortured them, did all this shit, eye for an eye, motherfucker.
Yeah, but who's gonna do that? Only
I volunteer as tribute. I fucking volunteer.
I don't think I could do it. I talk a lot of shit about whatever, like I do, but I think about some of the ways with serial killers in particular that I've seen how they've killed their victims, and it's just like
you just call another serial killer over.
You'd have to be like,
do this for me.
Hey Ted, I know Ted Bundy's dead, but hey Ted, come over. I need to take care of this. Like I don't know if I could do that to another human, because I think I agree, eye for an eye. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that would take a really heartless, careless, unemotional person to be able to mutilate somebody the way that a lot of the serial killers mutilate their victims. So you'd have to do that. I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could. Because I even said, I don't think I could sit and watch like when they get hanged or if they get lethal injections, or I don't think I could sit and watch somebody die like that. I don't know if I could, but I don't think I could because I don't like scary movies for that.
I was gonna say, I feel like I could because I watch movies that don't necessarily do that, but like I almost feel like I would view it as like, okay, it's just another movie, like
fucking creepy.
I don't know. My whole thing
Creeper.
is it would, yeah. Anyways, we're just gonna keep rambling on.
Okay.
So
Anyways,
if I'm being honest.
Okay. Anyways, so that was the story of the murder of Rick Chance. And if you like what you hear and you like what you're listening to, share us with all the peeps and continue to follow us. If you aren't following us, make sure you click the follow button so that you get the updates of every time a new episode comes out, which is every Tuesday. And I think this is going to be the part where I'm going to say, catch you on the flip side, bitches.
Bye, bitches.